Spearo Boxing, and we're here with Ambrose Mendy, advisor of James Degale. Ambrose, how are you doing today? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you.
So, May 23rd in Boston, Premier Boxing Champions, we've got Andre Dirrell versus James Chunky Degale. How are you feeling to have him on this scale today in boxing?
Well, I think it's great, and I'd rather say it the other way around, James Degale versus Andre Dirrell, because James is ranked number 1, Dirrell is ranked number 2. But no doubt you've probably seen some blurb coming from over there, typical Americans. No, it's fair to say, you know, James is prepared meticulously. It's been an excellent training camp. We're now in the latter stages of it. If ever somebody was equipped to go and do the job in hand, James Degale is that person.
Olympic gold medalist, he's looking to make history and go and be the first champion from the UK, become a world champion as well. Do you feel that the tables are stacked against him, the fact that he's going over there to win the championship, or do you feel like it's still doable for him at this point?
James, of course, is an Olympic gold medalist, and he won the Olympic gold medal in Beijing. I don't suppose at that momentous point James could speak 2 words of English to more than 5 people in a 1 mile radius. You know, he wore the badge, you know, for Great Britain with great pride on many occasions all over the globe. Going to another country, you're champion of the world, or you aspire to be. It means the world. It doesn't mean NW10, you know, or Manchester, Liverpool, Hull, or wherever. When we say properly prepared, James is surrounded with a mastermind circle, quality mastermind circle, where every question he wanted to ask or wants to ask will be answered. We are fully equipped, guaranteed.
Now, Andre Dirrell's brother recently lost his championship in the same division to Badu Jack. George Groves is his mandatory challenger. They're saying that they're looking to make that fight next, but obviously we don't want to overlook the occasion in hand on May 23rd. How do you see the fight going? Is there any plan in place for stylistically how we're going to handle him, or is it just a matter of getting in the ring and seeing how it goes?
Well, it's 2 southpaws. Rarely do you have 2 southpaws in a world title, in a world championship. In fact, I think in this country, last time it happened was when we had Otis Grant, who came over from Canada, and he fought the Brendan Ingle fighter, Spice Boy. It's gone out of my head. But no, so that's how rare it is. Having said that, James is a switcher. You know, he naturally switches, a bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan in snooker. Not somebody who just thinks, well, I can do that to get myself out of trouble. It's a seamless, you know, change of stance. And in any event, he's had careful preparation, sparring now for the last 8-9 weeks with really fast, really tall southpaw fighters. So I don't see that there's anything that we've not prepared James for.
Now, we've had Andre Dirrell versus Froch in the UK prior, and that was a bit of a controversial fight in the sense that a lot of people felt that he was robbed, etc. Now, for James to go there and to really put on a case for himself that he is the victor in the fight, do you feel like there's a chance that something could be duplicated over there, or do you feel that it's just the fact of him putting on the best performance he can and giving it his all?
America's a big place. You know, Nottingham is a very small place. I do feel for Andre Dirrell because I thought he actually won that fight. But, you know, you've got to respect the fact that Froch fought his heart out. And, you know, when you go abroad to fight for a title, you've got to do a little bit more. James is going to do a lot more, not a little bit more. He's not leaving anything to chance. That's it. You know, both equally skilled. James is an Olympic gold medalist. He is an Olympic bronze medalist. I maintain that James would have found people who can replicate his skill set. I defy him to show he's found someone to replicate James's skill set, because I don't know what James is going to do next. I do not know. I know that his offence is great and his defence is amazing. And now it's all allied, fit body, fit mind. The Gilmore's groin, the 2 major surgeries that he had, he's now fully recovered from them. If he goes back on the ropes now, you'll know it's with a plan, not because he needs to relieve himself from the pain that was shooting through his groin. So you've seen him, you know, like you can look him in the eyes, everything is A-OK. We're going to make history.
Ideal situation, James goes on to win the IBF world title. Badou Jack, George Groves wins WBC. Unification match in the UK, that would be incredible, because it's a part 2. They've already got quite a history with each other and they don't personally get along. So for UK fans, that would be the ideal situation for a unification bout and have one unified champion, WBC and IBF. If that was to happen, what do you think the whole situation is with the split? There was recently, I spoke to Eddie Hearn, he was saying that there was an issue with the split, that George was demanding more.
I spoke to George Groves. I spoke to George Groves myself to make things simple. I know George is a massive Nigel Benn fan, so I thought, well, let me speak to him. And I said, we can speak to the IBF. The guy who's in between the two of you can step aside for a financial reward and an obligation to fight him there afterwards. So it's perfectly legal and feasible. And his shout was, I want 60-40. That ended the conversation. It's 50-50. And whatever is the best fight for James, that's what we'll have. I know what the public want, but there are 2 major obstacles in the way. James has got to become world champion. I assure you, and all your viewership, he will. And George Groves has got to beat Badou Jack. That's not the easiest fight in the world. That is not the easiest fight in the world. But if he comes through it, he's his own negotiator. Sit down, we're here. It's the easiest thing in the world to arrange. 50-50.
That seems like the most feasible option is to go for a 50-50 between the two. Ultimately, we've just touched on like 60-40 split, same split as Mayweather Pacquiao this weekend just gone. What was your opinion on the fight, and was it a whitewash of Pacquiao, or do you believe this whole hoax of the injury? Do you think it was fake? Do you think it's real? What's your opinion on the overall, how the situation has panned out?
Well, first of all, I mean, obviously it's the widest reach we've ever had a fight, period. And I'm old enough and wise enough to hark back to the good old yesteryears and the great fights, the Alis and the Frasers and the Ali and Foreman and Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns and Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, and of course I was the architect of the British golden era, Ben Eubank and Watson. Believe you me, this was completely different. There are virgin viewers, virgin boxing fans, and I don't mean Richard Branson's organisation, people who were going in with the initiation, and they would have marvelled at the skill. They weren't for the bloodlust. It was, as I explained to my children and their friends, count on your fingers how many times Floyd Mayweather gets hit. Count them, and I don't mean on the arms and this, that and the other. I mean, he's looking for the head. This is a a head puncher. And of course, they were like, wow, wow, wow. A bit like, the old Saturday morning cinema. Like, whoa, wow, wow, yeah. You always need a hero and a villain. I think what Floyd Mayweather achieved here, personally and on behalf of boxing, is manifest impregnation of the subconscious, where information has been fed favourably, and it's so manifest it resonates really easy. Everybody who watched that fight is now talking like a boxing expert. Yeah. Like, oh well, I was a bit disappointed, but they've got a view, and I think that's what counts. And now we've got an excuse. Pacquiao says he was injured and this, that and the other. I thought it was disgraceful that he didn't have the humility to acknowledge. He said, I thought I won. What was he watching? I mean, I know he's a committed Christian, but he's telling fibs. I saw it with my own eyes. He lost. He lost, and Floyd won.
On that note, do you feel that there are any grounds for a rematch from Pacquiao's side?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Would you go and watch it again? I would. All I'd insist is make sure that arm's okay, and can you sign this to say there is definitely nothing wrong with you? I'm watching it again, all over again. It's
financially still the biggest fight that can be made easily. Now, one last thing. Your prediction for exactly how James Degale will win that fight?
Stoppage.
Any round?
No.
Stoppage altogether?
Stoppage.
Do you feel that the class between them is that far apart, the gulf between them?
I don't think it's that far apart. I just think one is, to win, you've only got to be marginally better than somebody else. So if there's equilibrium, you want a fundamental disequilibrium. James has got to impose his advantages, and he will. He will. Start fast and get faster.
Ambrose, thank you for speaking to Be Real Boxing. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure. Hi, Ambrose Mendy, and you are watching Be Real Boxing. It's the place to see what the people in the know have got to say.